Hi, it's Maija here, and I'm gonna try this TBR thing again. Even though I'm not great at following a TBR, there are 2-month-long readathons that I want to participate in February. They are Blackathon and Faebruary. So this is my TBR to choose from. I will not be able to get to all of these, but maybe by giving myself some options to choose from, I will actually follow a TBR. So Blackathon is hosted in February because it is Black History Month in the United States and Canada, and it is all about reading books by Black authors with Black main characters. There are challenges, but I'm not gonna do the challenges, and you may well guess that pretty much everything that I have chosen is fantasy. Blackathon is hosted by Jessie from Bowties and Books, Lauren from the novel Lush, and Francina Simone. And then there's February, which is pretty simple. It's about reading books about the Fae in February. And that is hosted by Sarah Jane from The Book Life. So on to my TBR. Let's start with Blackathon, even though the first two that I mentioned could kind of fit for both readathons. And the first thing that I'm definitely gonna read in February is How Long Till Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin. This is a collection of her short stories. I think they will pretty much all be fantasy or science fiction. I've only read 2 short stories from this before, from other places, and one that I read, Red Dirt Witch, featured a fae, so there. Then the second one that I feel like could fit for both readathons, and that I feel like right now I would be most likely to read during February, is The Changeling by Victor LaValle, which is a horror novel. I don't know much about the plot, and I prefer to keep it that way. I do know that the main character is called Apollo Kagwa, and he's a new father. I'm also counting this for February because of the title, The Changeling, sort of promises that it might have something to do with the Fae, and it's also described as a dark fairy tale. This definitely counts for Blackathon, I just don't actually know if it counts for February. Then I have 2 other books for Blackathon, and the first of those is The Winged Histories by Sofia Samatar, which is set in the same world as A Stranger in Olondria. And this tells about 4 women in a country at war. And I really love the beautiful language in A Stranger in Olondria, so I'm looking forward to reading this. Next I have Temper by Nicky Drayden, which is a fantasy novel about Auburn, who is marked lesser than his twin because he has 6 vices branded down his arm, and his twin Kasim only has 1, and this apparently is a ticket to a better life. And Auburn apparently starts to hear voices that tell him to perform evil deeds, and he is starting to get blood cravings. The back says that Auburn needs to rid himself of these maddening voices before they cause him to lose track of time, to lose his mind, and to lose his temper. Sounds good. Let's move on to February. I have 3 more books to choose from for that. The first of those is Under the Pendulum Sun by Jeannette, and this I think is set in Victorian times, and the land of the Fae, Arcadia, has been discovered, and Christian missionaries are going there. And the main character is Catherine Hellstone, whose missionary brother disappears while in Arcadia, and she has to go on a perilous journey to find him. Aliette de Bodard calls it an evocative, claustrophobic gothic novel with strikingly creepy set pieces. Sounds like my cup of tea. Then I have a middle grade or young adult historical fantasy from 1974. This is The Perilous Gard by Elizabeth Mary Pope. And this tells about young Kate Sutton, who is exiled by Queen Mary Tudor to a remote castle known as Perilous Gard. She becomes involved in a series of mysterious events that lead her to an underground world peopled by fairy folk. I hadn't heard of this book before. Goodreads recommended it to me some time ago, so I went ahead and bought it. I think I've heard one other person talk about this on BookTube. It might have been Giselle Bradley. And finally I have Kat Howard's Roses and Rot, and this is about 2 sisters who escape their cruel mother and go to attend this prestigious artist retreat. I think one of them is a writer and one of them is a dancer, but they soon learn that living in a fairy tale requires sacrifices. I'm pretty sure this has Fae in it, but not like 100% sure. It might just be like inspired or have a fairy tale like feel, or be inspired by fairy tales without having actual Fae. I don't know. So I have these 5 and the 2 Kindle books, so 7 books for me to choose from for the 2 readathons. Let me know if you are taking part in either one of these, and that's all from me for now. I'll see you in my next video.